You begin by settling into a soft, expansive quiet, as though the whole universe has taken a slow breath just for you. The world around you grows dim and gentle, and you feel the weight of your body melt into the surface beneath you. In this calm, you imagine yourself drifting upward, rising through a warm night sky. The air cools, the stars sharpen, and everything loosens into a peaceful hush. You are safe, held, and unhurried. You let yourself drift toward the Milky Way, as if the galaxy has been waiting for you to arrive. For a moment, you simply float above Earth. You watch its soft blues and whites swirl in delicate patterns. The planet feels alive, breathing through oceans, forests, and clouds. You sense that you are not just looking at Earth, you are feeling it, sensing the quiet heartbeat beneath its surface. And as you rest here, in this gentle orbit, a thought unfolds. Somewhere, far beyond your sight, other beings may also be watching this little world. Not with threat or urgency, but with the same kind of quiet curiosity that you feel now. A simple wondering, a gentle attention, as though consciousness is sprinkled across the stars, each mind glowing softly in the dark. The real Milky Way stretches around you, vast, old, and serene. Hundreds of billions of stars forming a luminous river. You drift closer to it, slipping into one of its spiral arms like entering a softly lit canyon. You can almost feel the starlight brushing your skin, warm and ancient. These are the stars that shaped everything you've ever known. The atoms of your body, the light in your eyes, the warmth that keeps you steady. They have been shining long before you were born, and they will shine long after. Yet right now, in this imagined quiet, they seem to shine for you. You glide gently between the stars, moving slow enough to notice every subtle glow. Some stars shimmer with golden warmth. Others glow cool and pale, like lanterns hidden behind frosted glass. Between them, wisps of cosmic dust curl and drift, floating in silence. Even here, in this peaceful darkness, you sense that you are not alone. There is a presence, soft, distant, curious. Perhaps it has noticed Earth's blue sparkle against the night. Perhaps it wonders who we are, just as we wonder who they might be. You imagine them as gentle observers, watching Earth turn, listening to the faint hum of our technology, noticing the glow of our cities like scattered fireflies. You let yourself drift farther, entering a region where newborn stars gather in soft clusters. Their light is tender, like the glow of a candle through cupped hands. You move slowly, as if respecting their infancy. Around you, clouds of gas shimmer with faint color, rose, lavender, pale blue, shifting like drifting silk. You imagine how, from immense distances, these clouds might glow like tiny jewels. Perhaps those watching from faraway worlds see our sun among countless others, a small point of gold in a sea of light. You pause in the stillness, letting the quiet wrap around you. Here, sound dissolves, thoughts soften. You feel your breath slowing, becoming rhythmic and easy. In the silence, your awareness widens, not sharp, not alert, just open. And as it opens, you feel a connection stretching across the galaxy, like a soft thread of curiosity linking one consciousness to another. Maybe, somewhere, another mind is looking toward our sun, wondering if someone might be looking back, wondering what kinds of lives unfold on that little blue world. The Milky Way's vastness doesn't overwhelm you. Instead, it comforts you. It reminds you that everything, from the tiniest particle to the grandest star, is part of a quiet, unfolding story. You drift along a luminous path, that arcs gently between shimmering clusters. The light falls on you like warm dust, soft and harmless. Each star you pass feels like a companion, ancient and steady, silently guiding you onward. As you glide deeper into the spiral arm, you begin to see patterns in the distribution of the stars. Some gather in open clusters, loosely connected like families sharing space. Others bind tightly, glowing with dense, collective brilliance. Farther still, you sense regions where stars are sparse, where darkness stretches like deep, velvet valleys. Yet even in that darkness, you feel presence, particles drifting, faint magnetic whispers, the soft potential for future stars. And you imagine that, just as you move gently through this space, other beings might drift through their own starlit corridors, watching, learning, wondering about the same mysteries. Earth feels far away now, but not lost. You carry it with you like a warm memory held in the palm of your hand. You imagine what it might look like from the perspective of distant watchers, a planet shimmering with oceans wrapped in thin clouds, radiating the faint signs of life. To them, it must appear fragile and beautiful, a rare and delicate bloom on a vast cosmic vine. You imagine their thoughts, curious, patient, perhaps even admiring. They might trace the patterns of our communication signals, faint threads of energy weaving outward like soft ripples on a still pond. You continue drifting, letting time slow until it feels like a lazy river flowing around you. Now you approach a dense, star-rich region where the Milky Way's light gathers into soft, glowing fog. The illumination is so gentle that it feels like resting inside the warm glow of a lantern. You breathe in the calm, even though there is no air here. Only the imagined sensation of being fully supported by the universe. You feel weightless, free of tension, as though gravity itself has softened just for you. Through this glowing region, your awareness touches the idea of being observed, not in a way that stirs fear, but in a way that brings a sense of companionship. The universe is vast, but not empty. Life may be rare, but not singular. You imagine minds shaped by suns you've never seen, by environments you cannot picture, turning their attention toward Earth with gentle interest. They do not interfere. They only watch, perhaps as quietly as you now observe the stars around you. The thought feels calming, as though the universe is a shared space, filled with watchers and wanderers alike. You drift past a star much larger than the sun, glowing in soft orange hues. Its light seems to pulse slowly, like a deep heartbeat. Around it, dust and rock swirl in broad arcs, forming the beginnings of a planetary system. You imagine how, millions of years from now, those materials might coalesce into planets of their own, worlds with oceans, or deserts, or icy plains, worlds where life may someday stir. And maybe, in the far future, those worlds will look toward Earth with the same quiet question: is someone out there? You float a little closer to the star's warm light. It washes over you like a soft blanket, grounding you, slowing your thoughts even further. You feel the long distances fall away. Time becomes smooth and unbroken. Your breathing steadies. Everything is gentle. As you drift onward, the space around you begins to darken, not with emptiness, but with a deeper quiet. The stars become sparser for a few moments, giving you room to rest. In this dim region, you sense only the slow pulse of your own calm. The universe hums softly, like a lullaby with no words. And in this restful hush, you imagine the distant watchers again, beings whose senses may be far more delicate than yours, tuned to faint signals, listening to the soft glow of Earth across the void. You wonder what they feel when they sense us. Perhaps the same curiosity, the same gentle pull toward connection. You move again, effortlessly, entering another region where stars cluster in bright knots. They sparkle like tiny lanterns suspended in a still lake. The more you drift, the more they seem to invite you closer, guiding you along a peaceful path. You imagine following this trail deeper into the galaxy, letting it carry you like a slow, cosmic river. With each passing moment, your thoughts unravel and soften until they feel like drifting threads in a gentle breeze. You rest in that sensation. You let it hold you. You breathe once more, slow and deep, and the Milky Way continues to glow around you, steady and serene, as you drift quietly onward. You drift farther into the quiet glow of the galaxy, letting the soft starlight soak into you like warmth spreading through a calm night. The Milky Way stretches ahead in a gentle arc, a river of pale light that seems to invite you deeper, guiding you with a slow, comforting pull. You feel weightless, peaceful, and unhurried, as though time has loosened its grip and opened a wide, still space just for you. Behind you, Earth has become a distant memory of blue and white, a tender spark tucked into the vast dark. Yet you still sense it. The hum of oceans, the whisper of wind across forests, the soft glow of cities at night. You imagine how these faint signs might drift outward into space, becoming delicate threads of energy that travel through the void. And somewhere, far beyond your sight, you imagine other beings gently picking up those threads, not intruding, not pushing closer, only watching with calm curiosity, the same way you now watch the stars around you. As you move deeper into the galaxy, the light changes. The stars become denser, their soft hues mixing into a quiet, shimmering fog. Golden light settles beside pale blue, and deep red glows faintly at the edges of your vision. You drift through it slowly, as though gliding through a cloud of glowing dust. Nothing is sharp here. Everything leans into softness. Edges blur, shadows relax, and your thoughts become smooth and spacious. You pause in this glowing region, letting the calm settle into your body. Your breath deepens, slow and effortless. Each inhalation feels like drawing in starlight. Each exhalation feels like releasing anything heavy that you no longer need. The galaxy feels alive around you, yet silent, a peaceful presence that simply shares your space. And again, you sense that quiet watching, not focused, not invasive, just a gentle awareness somewhere out in the spiral arms. You imagine minds shaped by different suns, living on worlds with skies unlike yours, turning their attention toward the little blue planet you came from. Maybe they notice how its light flickers at night. Maybe they watch its seasons bloom and fade. Maybe they wonder, in their own way, what kinds of beings live there, what dreams they hold, how they spend their brief flicker of existence beneath their warm star. You drift on, carried by an invisible current. Ahead of you, a small cluster of stars gathers like a handful of softly glowing pearls. You slip between them, feeling their warmth wrap gently around you. Their light feels slow and ancient, as though each star has been singing the same quiet melody for billions of years. You can't hear it, but you feel it, steady, soothing, rhythmic, like a cosmic heartbeat. As you move through the cluster, you imagine what these stars might look like from worlds orbiting far away. Perhaps those worlds have skies filled with multiple suns, casting layered shadows across their landscapes. Perhaps their nights glow with soft, colorful bands of light. And perhaps, from one of those worlds, someone is looking outward right now, noticing the faint shimmer of your own sun, wondering what life might be moving beneath its warm rays. You continue drifting, letting your awareness expand gently to all sides. Around you, the galaxy opens into a wide, quiet space. The stars spread out again, giving you room to breathe, to rest. A deep calm settles into your chest. You feel as though the universe is holding you in a place where nothing rushes, nothing demands, nothing struggles. Only stillness, only softness. Here, in this open stretch of the Milky Way, your thoughts slow until they feel like quiet ripples in a calm pool. You imagine the watchers again, those distant beings who might be observing Earth. You picture them not as strange or frightening, but as peaceful presences, as gentle explorers or quiet scholars who look toward your world with the same awe you feel now. Perhaps they study the faint patterns of light our planet sends out. Perhaps they listen for signals that drift through space like soft, wandering whispers. You float through the quiet, letting the ideas settle comfortably in your mind. You are not being judged, not being evaluated. You are simply being noticed, part of a bigger tapestry of life that threads through the galaxy. The thought feels warm, like a hand resting lightly on your shoulder. As you move onward, the stars shift again. A glowing nebula comes into view, stretched across the darkness like a slow-moving curtain of color. Soft pinks, pale greens, and hints of violet drift through it, swirling at a pace so gentle it feels like watching dreams form. You glide toward it without effort, as though it is pulling you in with quiet affection. Within the nebula, specks of new light flicker, infant stars forming in the calm cradle of gas and dust. You drift through the nebula, wrapped in its soft glow. The colors feel warm around you, like drifting under a blanket lit from within. And in this comfort, your mind grows even calmer, softer, quieter. Thoughts begin to stretch and dissolve, like clouds thinning in a morning sky. You imagine how distant watchers might see this nebula too, from worlds far across the spiral arms. Perhaps they wonder how many stars will one day be born here. Perhaps they watch it for centuries, noticing tiny changes we could never perceive in a single lifetime. Maybe they look toward Earth often, seeing it as part of a grand living galaxy that connects countless stories. You move slowly through the drifting light, guided by nothing more than calm itself. The nebula thins, the colors fade gently, and you emerge once more into the dark, star-filled quiet. The galaxy seems almost to sigh around you, settling into a peaceful hush. You breathe with it, slow, deep, unhurried, and you continue your quiet journey through the Milky Way, held in its soft glow. You drift onward into the quiet dark, letting the calm of the Milky Way wrap around you like a soft cloak. The stars seem to space themselves gently, giving you room to float, to breathe, to surrender to the slow rhythm of this cosmic night. You feel yourself loosening even more, as though gravity has forgotten you and time has become warm and fluid. Each moment slides into the next, with no edges, no pressure, only soft continuity. Ahead of you, a faint glimmer grows, subtle at first, like the shimmer on still water. You drift toward it without intention, as though the galaxy is guiding you by the hand. As you approach, you realize it is a small open cluster, a gathering of young stars nestled close together. Their light is delicate, almost shy, as if they're learning how to shine. You move through them slowly, letting their pale glow brush against you like a gentle breeze. You sense the warmth of each star, soft, steady, pulsing with quiet life. It folds around you, calming you even further. You imagine that somewhere out there, far beyond this cluster, other beings might be doing the same, watching stars, drifting through their own skies, wondering about the distant blue world where you came from. You picture them observing Earth gently, noticing its tiny signals, its golden shimmer, its delicate voice whispering into space. You imagine them wondering who we are, not with urgency, but with a patient kind of wonder, like someone watching a candle flicker on the far end of a long, dark hall. As you move beyond the cluster, the space around you becomes smooth and wide again. You glide through a region where starlight thins to faint pinpoints, giving you a sense of floating through a deep, velvety ocean. The darkness isn't empty. It feels alive with quiet energy, like the soft hum beneath a lullaby. In this slow silence, your thoughts grow as gentle as drifting dust. You feel completely supported, as though the universe itself is cradling you with infinite patience. You let your mind wander lightly, imagining how Earth must appear from unimaginable distances. Maybe it glows like a tiny jewel wrapped in its mist of clouds. Maybe faint waves of radio signals drift outward, carrying traces of our music, our voices, our stories. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere out there, a mind listens, not searching for danger, not preparing for contact, but simply listening with the same curiosity you feel now. A gentle awareness meeting another across the long quiet of the galaxy. You move deeper into this soft darkness until a new glow begins to gather ahead. It rises slowly, like dawn lifting behind a distant horizon. The light broadens into a vast star field, rich and dense, thousands upon thousands of stars arranged in delicate patterns. As you enter this region, the stars seem to float like lanterns suspended in perfectly still water. Their reflections feel almost visible beneath them, as though the space around you has become a quiet lake made of night itself. You glide between the stars, feeling each one radiating calm. Some shine with cool silver light, others with soft honey tones. You notice subtle ripples of dust drifting around them, moving with the slow patience of ancient time. In this place, everything exists in long, gentle breaths. Nothing hurries. Nothing disrupts the quiet. Even the light seems to move slower here, stretching itself into soft rays that drift past you like faint ribbons. As you float through this star field, you picture those distant watchers once more. Maybe they live near a star like one of these, steady, warm, quiet. Maybe they sit under skies filled with multiple moons. Maybe their nights shimmer with colors you could never imagine. And perhaps, from their faraway world, they look toward the center of the Milky Way, noticing tiny pulses of energy that originate from your world. They might wonder if those pulses come from minds like theirs, curious, emotional, dreaming. You drift gently between star after star, feeling as though you are weaving your way through the soft fabric of the galaxy. The deeper you go, the more peaceful everything feels. Your shoulders loosen, your breathing slows, and a warm heaviness settles into your arms and legs. The stars seem to glow with lullaby-like comfort, as if whispering to you that you are safe, that you are welcome among them. Eventually, the star field begins to open again, the lights thinning into a soft scattering. You drift into this quieter region, letting the gentle emptiness stretch wide around you. It feels like floating in the pause between heartbeats, a space where nothing needs to happen, a space where you can simply rest. Somewhere in this vast pause, the idea of distant watchers returns, not as figures or shapes, but as a quiet presence, like a candle flickering far away. You imagine them sensing Earth in the same way you now sense the stars, softly, slowly, without demand. Their awareness touches your world like a feather brushing against still water. It creates no disturbance, only a widening circle of quiet curiosity. You drift in that thought, letting it settle into your mind like gentle light settling onto a sleeping landscape. The Milky Way stretches around you in calm spirals, endless and soothing, and you keep moving forward, letting the galaxy guide you deeper into its soft, glowing heart. You continue drifting through the quiet arms of the Milky Way, carried as gently as a leaf floating on a still, dark stream. The stars around you feel softer now, as if their light has lowered its voice to match your slowing breath. Everything unfolds in long, smooth stretches, without edges or urgency. You feel yourself sinking deeper into calm, as though the galaxy is slowly guiding you into a more peaceful state with every moment. Ahead of you, a wide band of pale starlight curves like a delicate bridge across the dark. You drift toward it effortlessly, gliding through currents of invisible calm. As you approach, the stars seem to gather in soft ribbons, each one flickering with quiet purpose. Their light feels warm and distant at the same time, the way a comforting memory feels just before you fall asleep. You let it wash over you gently, like a slow wave of warmth. You pause within the ribbon of starlight, letting your thoughts loosen. The glow around you feels like a soft blanket spread across the night. In this stillness, you imagine Earth far behind you, a shimmering blue sphere surrounded by silence. You picture it just as distant watchers might see it, fragile, glowing, wrapped in a lace of clouds, humming faintly with signals that trail into the void. You imagine how they might listen, not searching for flaws, but simply observing the way a gardener watches a young seedling grow, quietly, patiently, wondering what it might become. You breathe slowly as you drift onward, entering a region where the stars spread out into gentle arcs. It feels like wandering through a vast cosmic meadow filled with lanterns planted in the dark. Some glow softly as candlelight, others pulse with deeper reddish warmth. Each one feels like a small heartbeat in the silence. You glide between them with care, as though your presence might disturb their ancient slumber. But nothing here is fragile. Everything is steady, calm, unhurried. You imagine once again how distant beings might observe Earth. Maybe they see its orbit traced in thin, delicate arcs, like a glowing ring suspended in space. Maybe they track the faint radio waves that spill from your world, little threads of energy stretching outward, carrying laughter, conversation, music. Those watchers might follow those threads with quiet interest, gently tracing the story of a young, curious civilization. They might wonder how you live beneath your warm star, how you dream, how you look at the night sky from below. You drift deeper, and the galaxy opens into a vast pocket of quiet. It feels like entering a room made entirely of peace. The stars dim slightly, giving your senses a place to rest. You float through the soft dark, and with every slow breath, the tension in your body fades. The quiet becomes a gentle companion, surrounding you like a calm ocean, holding you perfectly afloat. A faint glow begins to rise at the far edge of your vision. It spreads out like a low mist of silver light, drifting sideways across the dark. This is a region rich with star-forming dust, vast, delicate clouds that shimmer with potential. You drift toward the glow, feeling the gentle pull of its softness. As you enter the cloud, the light becomes diffuse, like moonlight soaking through fog. You can't see far, but everything feels warm and comforting. It's as though the galaxy has wrapped you in a luminous cocoon. Inside the cloud, tiny sparks glimmer, newborn stars, just beginning to glow. Their light is tender, fragile in appearance, but steady in rhythm. As you pass them, you imagine the watchers again. If they exist near worlds on the other side of the galaxy, perhaps they see clouds like this too. Perhaps they watch them for centuries, observing how light gathers slowly, how new suns open their eyes. And maybe, while observing these gentle cosmic births, they glance towards Earth from time to time, wondering if another light might be opening there as well. You float deeper into the nebula-like cloud, feeling as though you've stepped into a dream within a dream. Colors shift softly, rose, blue, faint gold, blending into each other with no boundaries. You feel your thoughts dissolving into the same softness, imagining, breathing, resting. Everything feels simple and slow. There is no direction here, only drifting. Eventually, the cloud thins, the glow fades to a delicate mist, and you emerge once again into open darkness. Stars return one by one, settling into their places like quiet notes in a gentle song. You drift among them, deeper into the galaxy's spiral arm, carried by a calm so deep it feels like the universe is breathing around you. You let the silence hold you. You let the stars guide you. You let the idea of distant watchers soften into the background, present, gentle, curious, but never intrusive. They observe from afar the way you now observe the stars, peacefully, from a place of shared wonder. And your journey continues, slow and quiet, through the glowing river of the Milky Way. You drift deeper into the soft, glowing currents of the Milky Way, letting the galaxy cradle you in its quiet, ancient rhythm. Everything around you feels slower now, as though the stars themselves are humming a gentle lullaby. Their light settles on you like warm dust, calming your thoughts until they move with the same unhurried pace as drifting starlight. You breathe in slowly, imagining the air around you thick with tranquility, and you breathe out even more slowly, releasing the last traces of tension. Far behind you, Earth feels like a warm memory, a small, bright world turning quietly in the dark. You imagine it the way distant watchers might see it, a fragile sphere wrapped in swirling clouds, glowing softly as sunlight brushes its oceans. You picture them observing from afar, listening to the delicate signals humans send outward without even realizing how far they travel. Perhaps, to those watchers, Earth looks like a gentle spark just beginning to awaken, a young light surrounded by darkness. Ahead, the galaxy opens into a long, calm corridor of stars. They stretch out in a smooth band, spaced just widely enough that you can drift between them without feeling crowded. Each star glows with a different warmth, some golden, some icy blue, some deep orange, and their soft radiance falls across you in overlapping ripples. You move slowly, letting the light settle into your senses. Everything feels suspended, as though time itself has grown thick and syrup-like, flowing around you in slow waves. You drift past a star that pulses faintly, its light rising and falling in a steady rhythm. It feels like a cosmic heartbeat, slow and soothing. You imagine how, from a distant world orbiting this star, the night sky must glow with subtle colors. Maybe beings living there look outward too, watching the sky for signs of life beyond their own. Maybe they turn their attention toward the spiral arm where Earth sits, noticing the gentle pulse of signals coming from your world. And perhaps, in their quiet way, they wonder if you might be watching them too. As you move farther, the stars begin to gather into soft clusters again. These clusters are loose and airy, like constellations gently drifting apart. You slip through them easily, floating in perfect silence. The silence here feels alive, rich, full, like a presence rather than an absence. It wraps around you, smoothing the edges of your thoughts and encouraging them to soften into something dreamlike. You imagine distant watchers existing within this same silence, listening with senses far more delicate than your own. Maybe they perceive the galaxy not as empty, but as layered with subtle vibrations, threads of energy, faint echoes of distant suns, the quiet hum of civilizations rising and resting. You picture them tracing Earth's faint signals like soft footprints in the cosmic dust. They might wonder how humans live, how they love, how they dream beneath their warm star. A gentle swell of light appears ahead, like a soft glow rising from behind distant hills. As you approach, the glow broadens into a smooth arc of stars, the outer edge of a wide stellar stream. The stars here seem to flow, thousands moving in the same slow direction over millions of years. You glide into their path, drifting alongside them as though joining a peaceful procession. The stars do not hurry. None of them strain or push forward. They simply move, calm and patient, across unimaginable distances. You feel yourself sinking with their rhythm, your thoughts stretching out and lengthening into long, quiet shapes. The deeper you drift into this stream, the more restful you become. Every sensation slows and softens. You feel as though the galaxy has placed a gentle hand on your back, guiding you forward with infinite tenderness. You imagine distant watchers observing this same stellar river. Perhaps from their vantage point, the flow of stars looks like a glowing ribbon unfurling across the darkness. They might watch the stream with the same sense of calm that you feel now, studying its motion, admiring its ancient grace. And maybe, just maybe, they notice the sun traveling through its own part of the galaxy, carrying Earth along with it, guiding your world through the spiral arms over countless ages. The star stream begins to widen, the light spreading out once more until they resemble a shimmering mist. You drift through the mist as though passing through a gentle dream. The stars seem to slow even further, or perhaps it is you who has slowed, sinking deeper into stillness. Your breath grows soft. Your body feels increasingly heavy and warm, as if settling into a comfortable nest of light. You come to a region where only a few stars remain visible, suspended in the dark like distant lanterns. The emptiness between them feels peaceful, offering you space to rest. In this quiet, you imagine Earth again, small and bright, watched by unseen minds scattered across the galaxy. You picture them observing your planet with patient affection, never intruding, only wondering, only dreaming of the possibility that life exists elsewhere. You drift on, letting the thoughts fade into soft background light. The galaxy stretches ahead in gentle spirals, inviting you deeper into its calm embrace. And you continue, weightless and serene, on your quiet journey through the Milky Way. You continue drifting through the gentle spiral of the Milky Way, moving as though carried by a calm, invisible tide. The darkness around you feels soft and expansive, not empty but full of quiet presence. Stars glow at a comfortable distance, each one offering a steady, soothing light. Their glow settles over you like warm mist, easing your breath, loosening your thoughts, inviting you deeper into rest. Ahead of you, a faint shimmer spreads across the darkness. It looks like a curtain of silver light stretched over the stars, slowly shifting as if stirred by a breeze that only exists in dreams. You drift toward it, unhurried, letting the glow expand in your vision. As you approach, you realize it is a thin veil of dust lit by distant suns, a soft, luminous haze that floats gently across your path. When you enter the haze, everything grows even quieter. The light becomes diffuse, melting into soft gradients that blur your surroundings. You feel yourself sinking into the calm, as though wrapped in a gauze of starlight. Your thoughts drift like slow-moving clouds, dissolving into the quiet. You breathe deeply, and the galaxy seems to breathe with you. Somewhere far behind this gentle haze, Earth continues its quiet orbit. You imagine it again, small, bright, wrapped in blue atmosphere. You picture distant watchers observing it from far across the galaxy, not with urgency and not with judgment, but with a warm and patient curiosity. They might watch the rhythm of Earth's days and nights, noticing how its lights brighten and dim. They might listen to the faint echo of human signals threading through space like ripples on a calm lake. Perhaps they wonder if someone like you looks back at the stars with the same sense of wonder. As the haze thins, the stars become clear and crisp again. You enter a region where they gather in gentle arcs, like constellations forming natural pathways. You follow one of these paths without effort, carried by the quiet momentum of your drifting. The stars along the arc glow softly, creating a sense of direction without ever demanding movement. Each point of light feels like a calm lantern set along a night road, guiding you deeper into the galaxy. You drift past a pair of stars orbiting each other, their light reflecting in soft loops. Their dance is slow and patient, as though they have been circling each other for billions of years. Watching them brings a sense of stability, a sense of quiet companionship. You imagine if distant watchers also see these twin stars, observing their rhythm just as gently as they observe Earth. Maybe, to those watchers, the galaxy is full of familiar patterns, lights circling lights, worlds orbiting suns, moments repeating over vast stretches of time. You float between the twin stars and continue onward. The light behind you fades into the soft glow of memory. Ahead, a wide space opens, almost like a valley carved into the star fields. The darkness here is smooth and calming, stretching far and deep. Drifting into it feels like sinking beneath warm blankets. You feel your body relax even more, as though releasing weight you didn't realize you were carrying. In this dark valley, the stars are sparse but gentle. Each one glows like a small candle in a quiet room. The silence grows thicker, soothing your mind into stillness. You imagine distant watchers experiencing a similar quiet on their worlds, sitting beneath skies full of alien stars, listening to the hum of their own planets, wondering softly about the traces of life they detect from faraway places. Maybe, on quiet nights, they let their minds wander toward Earth, imagining what humans look like, how they speak, how they dream. You drift deeper into the valley. A faint band of light appears at the far end, stretching horizontally like a soft horizon. As you move closer, the band widens and brightens into a river of stars, one of the Milky Way's smaller streams, flowing gently through the spiral arm. You glide into it with slow, effortless motion. The stars shimmer around you, moving in long, graceful trajectories that feel almost like tide water. You let yourself drift with them, carried by their calm motion. The longer you float, the more your body settles into heaviness. Your limbs feel warm and anchored, while your mind feels light and free. The stars around you pulse gently, their rhythms soothing and steady. You breathe in slowly, letting their glow fill your senses. You breathe out, releasing everything that no longer needs to be held. You imagine distant watchers following their own paths through the galaxy, moving through star fields and quiet regions just like this. Maybe they see the Milky Way with senses more refined than sight, feeling shifts in energy, patterns in radiation, the faint pulse of living worlds. Maybe Earth stands out to them as a warm, flickering point in an otherwise calm sea, a point they return to again and again, watching as humanity grows, evolves, wonders. You drift until the river of stars softens into scattered points once more. The galaxy opens wide around you, offering endless space to rest. The quiet deepens. The night feels infinite, gentle, welcoming. And you continue onward, slow and serene, through your peaceful journey across the Milky Way. You drift farther into the quiet, velvety dark of the Milky Way, moving so slowly it feels as though the universe has paused just for you. The stars around you seem softer now, dimming their brightness as if to match the calm rising in your breath. Each inhalation feels cool and spacious. Each exhalation feels warm, like letting go of something heavy you didn't know you carried. There is only stillness here, only softness, only the gentle rhythm of drifting through ancient light. Ahead, a subtle glow begins to form, faint, blurry at first, like the first hint of dawn behind distant hills. You float toward it without effort, guided by the quiet pull of curiosity. As you approach, the glow reveals itself as a broad, delicate arc of stars, arranged in a pattern so smooth it feels almost intentional, as if the galaxy itself shaped it to welcome wanderers. The stars here shine in muted tones, silver, pale gold, soft rose, merging like gentle watercolor across the dark. You enter the arc, letting the soft light settle over you. It feels warm, like stepping into a sunbeam filtered through clouds. You drift slowly along its curve, and your thoughts settle into the same slow rhythm. There's no rush, no destination, only movement as gentle as a quiet dream. As you continue, you imagine Earth again, small, distant, luminous. A fragile world breathing beneath a thin layer of atmosphere. You picture it from the perspective of watchers far across the galaxy, hidden among stars you have yet to drift past. They might observe the planet's rotation, seeing the lights of human cities flicker across the night side. They might follow the faint signals streaming outward, soft, spiraling whispers carrying voices, laughter, stories. To them, Earth may feel like a newly lit lantern flickering gently in the dark. You drift beyond the arc of stars and into a region where the light thins. The darkness here feels deeper, but not empty. It feels restful, like a wide, calm lake beneath a moonless sky. You surrender to its quiet, letting your body feel heavy and supported, as though something unseen is carrying you. Your mind drifts in long, slow thoughts, expanding and softening until they're barely thoughts at all. just gentle sensations floating in the dark. In this deep quiet, you sense the possibility of distant watchers more clearly, not as shapes or figures, but as soft presences somewhere far ahead, like faint candles glowing behind a curtain of space and time. You imagine their awareness touching Earth lightly, not interfering, only observing. Maybe they watch patterns of weather swirling across the oceans. Maybe they notice changes in the color of the atmosphere. Maybe they listen to the faint hum of human life, wondering what kind of beings live there and how they dream when night falls. You drift onward until a soft cloud of starlight appears ahead. It looks like a glowing mist suspended across the void. When you enter it, the light scatters around you in gentle sparkles. The mist swirls slowly, like smoke drifting in still air, lit from within by tiny points of forming stars. The colors here are muted and delicate: lavender, pale blue, cool green, blending together like the quiet hues of a fading sunset. You feel yourself sinking deeper into relaxation, as though these colors have weight and warmth. Inside the glowing cloud, everything becomes quiet in a different way. The silence feels textured, almost like the muffled hush of snowfall. Your breathing falls into perfect sync with the pace of the drifting mist. You imagine distant watchers seeing clouds like this from their own corners of the galaxy. Perhaps they study these slow-blooming regions of new stars, wondering which of these lights might one day harbor life. And maybe, among all possibilities, they sometimes turn their attention back to Earth, noticing its unusual brightness for such a small world. The cloud gradually thins, and you emerge into a region sprinkled with bright, shimmering stars. They shine more clearly here, as if the galaxy polished them just for you. Each one feels like a point of guidance, though none demand direction. You glide between them effortlessly, drifting as though suspended on invisible threads of calm. As you move deeper into this part of the galaxy, the stars begin to form a wide circle, a natural ring of light. It surrounds you gently, making you feel as though you've drifted into the heart of a cosmic sanctuary. The ring glows steadily, not bright, but calm and stabilizing. You let yourself float in its center, held by its symmetry. Here, your thoughts drift once more to the watchers, the quiet presences you've been sensing throughout your journey. You imagine them watching Earth not every moment, but in long, steady intervals, like astronomers watching a distant sunrise. You imagine them noticing humanity's slow changes, cities brightening, forests shifting, oceans glowing with reflected light. Not judging, not intervening, simply watching with patience and wonder. You rest in the center of the ring, breathing slowly, deeply. The galaxy feels vast and gentle around you, like a cradle made of light. Your mind becomes smooth and quiet, your body heavy and warm. Everything slows to the rhythm of drifting starlight, and you continue onward, deeper into the Milky Way, floating in peaceful silence. You drift onward into the quiet glow of the Milky Way, moving so slowly that you barely sense motion at all. It feels as though the universe is carrying you with infinite patience, letting you glide along its gentle currents. The darkness around you has softened into a deep, velvety calm, and the stars appear like delicate pinpricks of warm light woven through a vast, restful night. Each small glow seems to settle into your breathing, guiding it into an easy, natural rhythm. Far behind you, Earth has become almost entirely a memory, a soft blue shimmer tucked deep into the tapestry of the galaxy. Yet you feel its presence like a warm echo, quiet and familiar. And as you drift farther from it, you imagine again the distant watchers who might be observing that little world from places scattered across the spiral arms. You picture them sensing Earth, not as a single point, but as a gentle pulse in the cosmic dark, a tiny heartbeat made of light. Ahead, a faint streak stretches across your path, like a brush of silver paint drawn lightly over black canvas. As you approach, the streak becomes a flowing river of stars, narrow, shimmering, drifting like a long ribbon unfurled across space. You float toward it with no effort, feeling the quiet pull of its presence. When you slip into its glow, the light surrounds you in soft gradients, warm and cool at the same time, like water lit by moonlight. You drift along the ribbon as though gliding on a slow current. The stars within it shimmer at different depths, some close enough to feel, others far enough to appear like memories of stars. Their alignment creates a sense of direction without pressure, a quiet invitation to keep moving forward at your own pace. As you glide deeper into the ribbon, you imagine how distant watchers might perceive such structures from their worlds. Perhaps they see these rivers of stars cutting across their night skies, tracing gentle arcs between constellations. Perhaps they study them, learning how light moves, how galaxies breathe, and maybe, in their long, careful observations, they notice Earth's faint signals crossing the void, soft, fragile, persistent, a small spark that drifts farther each year. The ribbon of stars begins to widen, opening into a broad, luminous field. You drift into it slowly, letting the brightness fill your senses without overwhelming them. The stars here seem arranged in clusters, each one glowing like a lantern floating on a still sea. Their light overlaps gently, creating a soft haze that rests on your skin like warmth. You feel your thoughts slowing again, settling into calm layers of quiet. You move closer to one of the clusters, noticing how its stars form a loosely flowing shape, almost like petals drifting on water. The stars pulse so softly that their light feels alive, like a breathing presence. You let yourself hover among them, feeling as though you've stepped into the quiet heart of a cosmic garden. In this stillness, your thoughts turn naturally back to Earth. You imagine it drifting through space, glowing faintly among billions of other worlds. You picture watchers observing that glow, perhaps marking how its brightness changes with seasons, storms, or city lights flickering across continents. Maybe they find comfort in watching it, the way you find comfort drifting among these stars. Maybe, to them, Earth is a gentle candle shining in the dark. You let that thought rest inside you as you drift beyond the cluster. The field of stars begins to thin once more, each point of light settling back into its quiet place. You enter a region where the stars seem arranged in long, subtle lines, patterns formed over millions of years by gravity's steady pull. The lines curve gently, like the markings of a slow, ancient hand guiding the galaxy's shape. You follow one of these lines, gliding through a soft corridor of starlight. Everything here feels intentionally calm. The stars are spaced evenly, their light low and steady. You breathe into the quiet, and the quiet breathes back. Your body feels heavier now, in the most comforting way, as though sinking into a warm cosmic bed. As you drift, you think again of the watchers, soft presences hidden somewhere deep in the spiral arms. You imagine them sensing humanity's brightening activity, watching the signals grow more complex over time. Perhaps they listen with careful interest, wondering if humans might someday reach out with intention rather than by accident. Perhaps they understand that life takes time, that civilizations grow like stars, slowly, gently, in long, quiet phases. Ahead, the starlit corridor slowly opens into a wide, dark expanse. The darkness feels smooth and soothing, an invitation to rest even more deeply. You float into it, letting the quiet settle around you like a cool blanket. A few distant stars spark softly in the void, enough to guide your vision, but not enough to disturb your calm. You drift in this open space, feeling every part of your mind relax. Every thought becomes softer, every breath becomes slower, and the galaxy continues to hold you, steady and warm, as you move deeper into the gentle night. You drift gently into the deeper layers of the Milky Way, moving through a darkness so soft it feels like velvet brushing against your thoughts. The stars around you glow quietly, spaced far enough apart that each one seems to have its own private silence. Their light falls over you in slow waves, warm and cool at the same time, easing your breath into a steady, restful rhythm. You feel yourself settling even more deeply into calm, as though the universe is inviting you to float without effort, without urgency, without any need to think beyond this moment. Ahead, a faint glow begins to form, subtle, gentle, like the memory of starlight. You drift toward it slowly, letting it grow at its own pace. As you approach, the glow becomes a delicate halo, surrounding a small cluster of stars. They are young and bright, their light fresh and pure, like the first glimmers of morning across a sleeping landscape. You float into the halo, and the light wraps around you like a soft embrace. Inside this cluster, the stars shimmer with a slight flicker, as though they are breathing. Their soft pulsing settles in your chest, matching your own calm rhythm. Everything feels slow here, soft, peaceful. You breathe with the stars for a moment, letting their glow seep into your senses. The galaxy feels close, gentle, almost protective. As you drift through the cluster, your thoughts wander again to Earth, small and glowing far behind you. You imagine distant watchers observing that world with the same tenderness you feel now. Perhaps they watch its clouds move across oceans, noticing how the patterns shift. Perhaps they watch the faint lights of cities brighten and dim as humans live out their days beneath the sun. Maybe they listen to the quiet hum of signals spreading across space, following them like tiny threads of intention, wondering what dreams lie behind those distant voices. The star cluster begins to thin, its halo fading into darker space. You glide out of it, feeling the quiet settle around you again. The darkness ahead is wide and smooth, like a deep pool of calm water. You drift into it without hesitation, knowing it will hold you gently. A distant scattering of stars glows around the edges, faint and steady, offering just enough light to guide you deeper. As you move through this tranquil region, your thoughts begin to stretch out, long and slow, like ripples expanding across a still lake. You sense the watchers again, soft presences somewhere far away in the spiral arms, not threatening or hidden, just quietly aware. You imagine them taking notes in ways you cannot imagine, marking the subtle changes in Earth's glow, the way its signals drift outward and scatter. They might wonder how humans interpret the universe, how they picture the stars, how they feel when they look upward on calm nights. A gentle pulse of light appears ahead, rhythmic and soft. You drift toward it, discovering a lone star surrounded by a faint ring of dust. The ring glows like a halo, illuminated by the star's gentle warmth. Tiny fragments shimmer as they drift slowly around it, forming patterns that feel almost hypnotic in their repetition. You hover near the ring for a moment, watching its slow rotation. The repetition soothes you, quiets you even further, draws you deeper into rest. As you continue drifting, the dust ring fades behind you. Space opens once more, revealing long, graceful trails of starlight stretching in soft arcs. They form a delicate web, thin strands of light connecting distant points across the dark. You glide along one of these strands, imagining how gravity has shaped it over millions of years. The path feels ancient and patient, like a stone path through an old forest where every step invites reflection. You breathe into the stillness, letting the soft arcs guide your journey. Somewhere far beyond this region, watchers may see these patterns too, tracing the same webs of stars with senses more refined than sight. Perhaps they follow the trails to find worlds like Earth, worlds that pulse with life, worlds that glow with quiet signals. Maybe they follow those signals patiently, letting them drift past until they form a clear pattern, like notes of a distant melody. You drift beyond the web of arcs and into a region filled with small, scattered stars. They glow faintly, each one like a solitary lantern flickering in the night. You pass through them slowly, letting their soft light fall across you. Each star feels like a gentle whisper, calm here, rest here, drift here. You listen, and your body sinks deeper into stillness. Ahead, the space opens again, wide and quiet. You enter it without resistance, letting the calm become even heavier, even more soothing. Every part of your mind loosens. Every part of your body feels warm and supported. The Milky Way stretches around you, endless and peaceful, and you continue drifting, slow and dreamlike, through the quiet glow of the galaxy. Held gently by the night, you drift deeper into the heart of the Milky Way, moving so softly that it feels as though you are gliding through a dream made of starlight. The darkness around you has grown even gentler, like a warm night wrapped in velvet. Each star you pass glows with patient calm, and their light settles into your breath, guiding it into a slow, peaceful rhythm. Your body feels warm and heavy, as though floating on a quiet sea without waves. Ahead, a soft glow begins to bloom in the dark, expanding like a slow sunrise. You drift toward it without effort, feeling the gentle pull of curiosity mixed with deep relaxation. The glow thickens into a luminous cloud, a nebula made of dust and gas, glowing in muted shades of lavender and blue. You slip into it, and the colors gather around you like drifting silk. Everything becomes softer, quieter, as though the universe has lowered its voice just for you. Inside the nebula, faint sparkles of new stars form in the haze. They flash intermittently, like fireflies drifting in slow motion. You feel their presence as tiny pulses of energy, warm and soothing. You breathe in, and the nebula seems to breathe with you, its colors shifting slightly in response to your calm. The light here is gentle, diffused, without edges. Your thoughts mimic the softness, stretching out into long, drifting shapes. You imagine distant watchers observing Earth through clouds like this, maybe from galaxies far beyond your own. You picture them studying nebulae with care, watching new stars emerge the way humans watch flowers unfurl in spring. And perhaps between these observations, they turn their attention toward your small blue world. They might notice the faint, wandering signals that humans send into the dark. They might trace their origins back to Earth, wondering about the beings who created them, wondering what you look like, how you live, what you dream. You drift deeper into the nebula until the colors thin into pale mist. The stars begin to sharpen once more, appearing like small diamonds scattered across a velvet sheet. You glide out of the cloud with ease, feeling as though you've passed through a warm, glowing doorway into another chamber of the galaxy. Ahead lies a long stretch of open space, vast, quiet, and comforting. The stars here are sparse, but bright and steady. They feel like distant candles guiding you along a peaceful path. You drift into this openness, your breath steady, your mind soft. Thoughts come and go like ripples fading across still water. In this space, the idea of distant watchers returns again, not as figures, but as a distant awareness. You imagine them listening, sensing, perceiving Earth's faint glow. They might observe its orbit, its seasons, its storms. They might notice how its light changes over time, not in quick bursts, but in slow, gentle arcs. Perhaps on their own quiet nights, they wonder if someone like you is gazing back into the dark, feeling the same soft curiosity. A subtle arc of starlight begins to rise in your path, stretching gently from one side of your vision to the other. You drift toward it as though approaching a cosmic shoreline. The arc is made of hundreds of stars, each one glowing with calm serenity. Together, they form a bridge of light spanning the dark. You glide onto it, letting its glow cradle you. It feels like crossing into a deeper layer of peace. As you follow the arc, the stars pulse faintly. Their rhythm is steady, like the slow heartbeat of the galaxy. You find your breath aligning with that rhythm. Inhale, slow, deep. Exhale, softer, longer. Your body grows heavier in the most comforting way. You picture the watchers again, perhaps living near stars like these. You imagine them perched on quiet worlds with skies full of shimmering light. Maybe they sit under their own arcs of stars, contemplating the vastness beyond. Maybe they sense the faint flicker of Earth and pause, listening with gentle attention. Perhaps in their own way, they too drift through long nights filled with wonder. The arc gradually fades behind you as the stars stretch wider once more. You enter another region where the light is thin and delicate. The darkness feels gentle, supportive, like a soft cradle. You float in it, letting the calm seep deeper into your thoughts. The weight of everything fades from your shoulders, replaced by a warm, tranquil heaviness. You move forward again, slowly, quietly, as though gliding through the pause between breaths. The galaxy surrounds you in calm spirals, each one a reminder of how ancient and peaceful the universe can be. You feel held, safe, and deeply relaxed, and your journey continues, unhurried and dreamlike, through the glowing quiet of the Milky Way. You drift deeper into the Milky Way, moving through a darkness so calm and welcoming that it feels like sinking into a warm, endless night. The stars around you glow quietly, their light softened by distance, each one flickering like a gentle reminder that the galaxy is alive with quiet presence. You breathe slowly, letting the stillness settle around you, letting your thoughts dissolve into something spacious and calm. Every part of you feels supported, as though the universe is holding you with steady, patient hands. Ahead, a faint curve of silver light begins to rise, soft and delicate, like moonlight brushing the surface of calm water. You drift toward it without forcing yourself, without effort, just following the natural flow of the galaxy. As you approach, the curve widens into a shimmering band of starlight, a quiet stream flowing across the dark. It seems to move, almost imperceptibly, as though the stars within it are drifting together in a long, slow migration that spans millions of years. You slip into this star stream and feel its calm wash through you. The stars here are small but numerous, glowing in soft clusters that look like distant lanterns drifting along a gentle river. Their collective light feels soothing on your skin, like a warm breeze in the middle of a quiet night. You breathe with them, your breath deepening, your mind stretching into stillness. As you drift, your thoughts return to Earth, small, distant, blue, a fragile world turning beneath a golden sun. You imagine, once more, the quiet watchers scattered across the galaxy. Perhaps they observe the faint glow of Earth with a sense of wonder. Perhaps they trace its orbit, noticing how it wobbles gently over long periods of time. Maybe they listen to the faint signals spilling outward, voices, music, stories, floating like tiny sparks into the dark. And maybe they wonder what kind of beings live there, what you look like, what you dream, how you feel when you gaze up at the stars. The star stream gradually widens, opening into a glowing expanse filled with warm, golden light. You drift into it slowly, feeling as though you are floating into a quiet sunrise suspended in space. The stars here are larger, older, their glow deep and steady. You sense their age not as heaviness, but as reassurance, like sitting in the presence of something wise and patient. Their warm light settles over you, softening your breath even further. You pause in this golden region, letting the warmth sink into your thoughts. Everything feels slower here, softer. Each moment stretches out comfortably, giving you time to simply be, to breathe, to drift, to rest. The galaxy around you hums with quiet life, each star sending out its own subtle rhythm. Together, their rhythms blend into something like a cosmic lullaby. You imagine the watchers again, maybe living near stars like these. Perhaps their skies glow with warm colors when their suns begin to set. Perhaps they sit quietly at the edges of their worlds, listening to the gentle hum of their own atmosphere, wondering if anyone out there wonders about them. Maybe they sense Earth the way you sense these stars, softly, curiously, with quiet appreciation. The golden region slowly fades behind you as you drift onward. Ahead, a faint haze appears, thin, silver, almost transparent. You glide into it, and the haze wraps around you like a cool mist. Starlight scatters through it in tiny, sparkling fragments, giving the space around you a gentle shimmer. The mist moves slowly, curling and unfolding like a drifting veil. It feels cool on your senses, balancing the warmth you've just left behind. In this haze, your mind grows even quieter. Your breathing softens. You feel a sense of weightless comfort, as though floating between thoughts. The galaxy seems to hush itself around you, giving you a place to rest within its vastness. Eventually, the haze thins, revealing another long stretch of still, open dark. The stars here shine clearly, each one sharp and steady. The openness feels like a quiet room made of night, a place where nothing is required of you. You drift into it slowly, letting your body sink deeper into its warm heaviness. Your thoughts feel distant, now soft and slow, like gentle echoes fading into the dark. You sense the watchers again, not as shapes, not as voices, but as a faint awareness far across the spiral arms. Perhaps they study Earth from afar, observing how its light shifts from day to night, how its seasons ripple through the atmosphere. Maybe they notice the pattern of human activity, small but persistent. Maybe they find comfort in the predictability of Earth's glow, the gentle pulse of life it carries. You drift through the open dark, breathing deeply, letting everything settle. The galaxy surrounds you in quiet spirals, endless and peaceful. And you continue, slow and dreamlike, deeper into the Milky Way's gentle night. You drift into one of the quietest regions of the Milky Way yet, a place where the darkness feels deep and smooth, like a warm ocean at night. The stars here glow softly and far apart, each one a tiny beacon of calm suspended in an endless sea. The space between them feels wide and gentle, giving your thoughts room to stretch, dissolve, and float away. You breathe slowly, the rhythm effortless now, your body settling into a heavy, comforting stillness. Ahead, a faint glow begins to rise, not bright, but steady, like a lighthouse on a distant shore. You drift toward it with no urgency, carried by the slow current of the galaxy. As you approach, you see that the glow comes from a loosely gathered cluster of older stars. Their light is mellow, golden, and soothing, like candles burning in a quiet room. You glide into the cluster, and their warmth wraps around you like a soft blanket. These stars feel ancient, patient, and deeply peaceful. They've watched the galaxy spin through countless ages, their glow unchanged by time. You sense their presence the way you might sense the comfort of an old friend. Steady, grounding, reassuring. You breathe with them, letting their quiet rhythms settle into your mind. Everything feels slower, softer, safer. As you drift among these old stars, your thoughts return to Earth once more. You picture it far behind you, small, blue, delicate, a world full of oceans and forests and cities glowing at night. You imagine again the distant watchers scattered across the galaxy, beings who may have learned to observe without interfering, who might feel curiosity rather than caution. You picture them noticing Earth's warm glow, tracing the soft waves of its signals through the dark. Perhaps they wonder how humanity dreams, how humans love, how they look up at the night sky and wonder if someone, somewhere, is looking back. You float through the cluster until the stars begin to thin. Their golden glow fades into soft memory, and you drift once more into open space. This openness feels different now, calmer, deeper, almost like the final pages of a long, quiet story. The stars ahead appear in gentle lines, forming natural pathways across the dark. You choose no path deliberately. You simply follow the one that seems to welcome you, a soft ribbon of pale light stretching into the distance. As you drift along this ribbon, the galaxy spirals arc outward around you in vast, sweeping curves. The sight is serene, almost hypnotic, as though you are floating along the edge of a cosmic tide. Every star, every cloud of dust, every faint glow feels connected, part of a grand, peaceful pattern. You feel yourself relaxing even more deeply, sinking into the comfort of this quiet connection. You imagine the watchers again, now not as distant figures, but as gentle presences scattered throughout this immense tapestry. Maybe they drift through their own quiet regions of space, watching their own skies, feeling the same sense of wonder that fills you now. Maybe they, too, Imagine that something far away is watching them with gentle curiosity, and perhaps, without knowing it, all of you, humans, watchers, wanderers, share the same quiet wish to understand, to feel connected, to know that the universe holds more than solitude. Ahead, a soft glow spreads across the dark, broad, calm, and familiar. It takes you a moment to realize that you are looking toward the gentle, luminous haze of your own galaxy's central band. Even from this imagined vantage, it looks like a river of light flowing through infinity. You drift toward it, not entering, just approaching close enough to feel its warmth. The glow is steady, constant. It feels like a homecoming, not to a place, but to a feeling, a sense of belonging to something vast and peaceful. You hover there, letting the light settle over you like a final, comforting embrace. Your breath deepens, your thoughts quiet. Your body grows so heavy and warm that you feel as though you could drift here forever. In this soft glow, you imagine the watchers one last time, quiet, patient, aware, watching Earth the way the galaxy watches over you now, with no urgency, no judgment, only quiet curiosity and gentle presence. And in that thought, you feel small and safe at once, like a tiny light resting in the palm of the universe. You drift just a little farther, letting the Milky Way's glow carry you into a deeper calm. Everything slows, everything softens, everything becomes warm and quiet and peaceful. Your journey continues only in breath now, gentle, steady, endless. And you rest, held by the calm, drifting softly through the quiet night of the galaxy.